The American military is preparing to move on
Let's watch
to the
it.
Strait of Hormuz. Iran is in trouble. Israel's strike may paralyze the Revolutionary Guards. And for the first time in Iran, they thought that they had already seen everything from the Israeli air forces. And yesterday, the Revolutionary Guards were struck with shock. The Israeli Air Force bombed Iranian naval vessels in the Caspian Sea, and the IDF shut down Iran's strategic corridor inside the Caspian Sea in a joint operation by the Air Force and the Navy. This comes after yesterday's Iran's intelligence minister was eliminated, and also the new commander of the Imam Hussein Brigade. After the Israeli Air Force strikes on the Iranian gas facilities, Trump said, if Iran attacks Qatar again, the United States will blow up South Pars without hesitation. Mustafa Khamenei threatens Lajiani's killers will pay a price soon. After Israel struck the Revolutionary Guards' space headquarters, the United States is now hitting Iran's space capabilities. Iran is striking the soft underbelly of the Gulf states, and Trump is planning a takeover of the strategic Strait of Hormuz. We will blow up everything. This is Trump's deadly ultimatum to Iran. Trump against NATO. The refusal that is deepening the rift with Europe and bringing Israel and the United States closer to a new defensive agreement in the world. Israel continues to destroy Iran's military industry. Qatar is raging with anger at Iran and is taking an unusual step. This is how the Revolutionary Guards responded to the strikes on Iran. And yesterday, Iran set fire to the world's gas field in Qatar. President Trump is considering sending thousands of additional troops to the Middle East, some of them for ground missions. Even as Al Jazeera admits, the depth of the Israeli penetration into Iran is causing shock. Senior commanders in the Arab world point to the extraordinary depth of Israel's intelligence penetration into the Iranian regime. The central question, how did Israel succeed? Iran attacked Qatar's gas city with missiles and also with gas fields in Saudi Arabia that were harmed. The head of the CIA stated, without the war, Iran would have threatened our territory. And all of that matters to the Revolutionary Guards in Iran because all they care about is to lie about the reality. They edit videos, they fake the news, and they use AI. This is how Iran's propaganda machine works to create a false picture of this war, and is the beginning of the end of the Revolutionary Guards coming up. Armed Iranian citizens attacked the besieged forces in Iran. Unusual footage is reaching us from Tehran about this. I'm Yair Pinto, and with me is Mati Shoshani, and we are the boots on the ground that bring you the whole truth about what's happening in Israel and all the details about what's happening in the Middle East. This is day 20 of the Roaring Lions War, or by its American name, Epic Fury. And for the first time in Iran, they thought that they had already seen everything from the Israeli Air Force. But yesterday, they were struck with shock. The IDF confirmed that it struck Iran's naval fleet in the Caspian Sea, a place where Israel had not attacked before. Several warships of the Iranian Navy were also badly damaged, and the IDF struck for the first time inside the Caspian Sea, in the northern parts of Iran, and hit vessels of the Iranian Navy. Yesterday, in Tehran, Israel eliminated Ismail Khatib, and at the same time, also the commander of the militia that fights alongside Hezbollah, whose predecessor was also terminated just last week. So the United States is considering deploying thousands of additional troops to the Middle East. The move is being considered in order to help the American administration ensure freedom of navigation inside the Strait of Hormuz, take control of Karag Island, and remove the enriched uranium from the Iranian territory. Trump is planning a military takeover of the Strait of Hormuz, an action that would extend this war by at least several more weeks. Iran attacked gas facilities in Qatar and also in Saudi Arabia, and there was a direct hit that was recorded in Ras Laffan, alongside interceptions of a drone and missiles over Saudi territory. And meanwhile, after Iran's strike in Qatar, a fire broke out in Ras Laffan, one of Qatar's largest natural gas production facilities. As a result of this missile, the fire took place. And Qatar Energy confirmed that the attack caused serious damage. The IDF confirms that it struck Iran's naval fleet in the Caspian Sea, a place where Israel had not attacked before. And according to the sources, several warships of the Iranian Navy were badly damaged. In Saudi Arabia, a drone that tried to approach a gas field in the eastern part of the kingdom was intercepted. The rules have been broken. Hours after the strike on Tehran's gas asset, the Revolutionary Guards took revenge against Qatar, their main business partner and their mediator. With direct hits in Ras Laffan, Iran is sending a message to the world. If we will not have gas, Europe will freeze from the cold. Who will lead Iran on the day after? The elimination of Ali Larijani is shaking the centers of power at the top of Iran and placing Mujtaba Khamenei, whose condition nobody really knows, before a test of survival. Mujtaba Khamenei, the man who was supposed to lead Iran in its hardest hours, lies wounded and also isolated in a fortified wing of the Sina hospital. While the leader's instructions are being read out by foreign announcers, not by himself, power struggles are raging underground between the generals of the Revolutionary Guards themselves. Iran is now being run like a body without a head, under a leadership vacuum. The United States Army made history on the battlefield. The new weapon systems are changing the warfare. The United States is making broad use in the war of ballistic missiles, including from innovative systems, and the change is being felt on the battlefield. They're making it possible to divide the missions amongst the forces. The development was accelerated to allow faster entry into combat. Some of the missiles against Iran were launched directly from the territory of the Gulf states. Donald Trump is furious with NATO, which refused to assist in the Hormuz area despite Europe's dependence on oil. As the United States carried out the burden and the rift is deepening, Israel is emerging as a central and loyal partner. And on the northern front, against Hezbollah, a highly unusual case. Hezbollah brought out the Navy and the heavy artilleries and launched missiles all the way to southern Israel. Hezbollah is also trying to carry out attacks in the Gulf states. I'm Yair Pinto, and with me is Mati Shoshani, and we are the boots on the ground that bring you the whole truth about what's happening in Israel. And this is day 20 of the war against the Revolutionary Guards in Iran, which is the head of the crumbling axis of evil in the Middle East. And just before we begin, I want to call on you to keep spreading the truth, share our content with as many people as possible, click on the subscribe button. Most importantly, do not forget to look for me, Yair Pinto, and for Mati Shoshani on our social media platforms so that you can get our behind-the-scene perspective of what's happening in Israel under this war. And now, our senior Middle East correspondent, Mati Shoshani, what do you say when we look at the Israeli strikes on the gas fields in South Pars and the Iranian responses against gas facilities in Qatar and the Gulf states? Are we actually seeing here a transition from a regular military war to a war over energy infrastructures and a regional economy war? Let us know what you think.
Thank you, Yair. That is a great question. Indeed, it seems we're watching the history of the second Israel-US-Iran war transform and change in front of our eyes. From a war that was intended only to remove the Iranian regime to a war that has a more substantial financial component to it, a regional money war, oil war, and even an effect on the global markets around us. Now, there's a lot to take in here. Give me a couple minutes, I'm going to break this all down. Let's start from the end, where we are today. The last attacks that have taken place in the last 24 hours have substantially changed the reality on the ground of what this war actually is. Israel has struck against the oil fields and oil facilities of the Iranian regime and struck deep into Iranian territory, way past the western side of Iran, deep into the north-central area of Iran, eliminating targets that are tied into the oil industry. Iran has done the same thing, not in Iran, of course. They've continued to strike oil facilities and oil carrying methods of the other Gulf states to try and wedge a stick or a big bat in the wheel of the global economy. What did that look like? Just last night, yesterday, Israel time, the Iranians bombed a very substantial Qatari oil refinery facility. Natural gas facility. In fact, one of the biggest ones in the world. Now, just to give you guys the numbers, and again, so I understand how much the impact is substantial, of the global economy of oil, about a quarter of that oil on a daily basis travels through the Strait of Hormuz. That translates to, let's say, somewhere between 100 to 130 oil tankers per day, plus oil and natural gas that are moved through pipelines to other countries and then by ship or by an extension of the pipelines. So that's a very substantial percentage of the global economy. Another piece of the global economy is in the nature of, or the shape of, natural gas. Now, natural gas, before it's moved, needs to be liquidated. It needs to be turned into a liquid. And it goes through a processing sort of a series of events where it becomes a liquid that's then carried on ships. About 20% of that natural gas also travels through the Strait of Hormuz. Much of it comes from the country of Qatar. A country of Qatar who is not exactly a neutral country, but I'd say they even sometimes lean more towards the Iranian destabilizing effort than they do towards anything else. And this is interesting because Iran chose to attack Qatar. They attacked the Qatari natural gas processing plants. Israel attacked their facilities.